In this video, we are taking you on the south coast of England, in a seaside town well known from history for the famous Battle of Hastings that took place in 1066 between the Normans and the Saxons. The actual fight took place a few miles away from the town of Hastings, but its name was inspired by it. And while this historic event has a significant importance, this time we wanted to show you something else in Hastings, a very unique and controversial place to visit. There are various car parks to choose from, and we decided to park at Pelham Place car park. It's situated right at seafront. It does have a height restriction, but it was still fine for our camper van, and for 4 hours of parking we've paid £9.50. There are lots of places to see in Hastings, so we think it's a good destination for a weekend getaway. For example, you will get attractions common for seaside towns, for example, aquarium, mini golf, arcades. There is also a funicular that takes you up on the hill where you can see the ruins of Castle of Hastings, and then you can also see the town from above. There is also a nice theatre that you can visit, which has a really beautiful architectural structure. And of course, the whole town is marked by the historic events from 1066 and the Battle of Hastings. But the place that we really wanted to visit this time was on our dog-friendly places to visit in the UK list, and it is a very intriguing place and about 10 minutes walk from the car park that we've chosen, so let's go and explore it together. The True Crime Museum. It is a relatively small museum, but with many interesting and intriguing things to see, a lot of stories to read and interactive displays. And again, just emphasizing, this museum is dog friendly. Your dog is allowed to come with you and explore the entire building. We would say it's not necessarily recommended for younger children due to its nature, but it is for sure an interesting place to visit with older children. As you enter the museum, you will get the chance to hop on a real police motorcycle and take pictures, and then you can head off straight to the crime lab, which is your first attraction here. In the crime lab, you can see various types of evidence which is used to solve crimes by the forensic investigators. There are a few interactive displays to explore, mini activities such as identifying a suspect based on bite marks left at the crime scene, for example, or you see how well your mind works when it comes to remembering important dates or key facts, which are important skills for an investigator to have. You can even take your fingerprints home on a postcard if you want, or you can see some examples of specimens analyzed by a forensic detective in the hope of solving their cases. So a lot of interesting displays in this room, and you can spend as long as you want discovering them all. From the crime lab, you can go and check the terrifying stories linked to the famous Reaper from the 80s, known as the Era of the Reaper. So you might know about Jack the Ripper, and these stories are definitely not for the faint-hearted. There are a few places around the museum where you can take pictures, selfies, and one of them is the electric chair. You will get the chance to actually sit on an electric chair and take pictures, and believe it or not, this deadly form of punishment is still used today in some of the American states. If If you continue the tour and before entering the main rooms of the museum, you will get a chance to see how hidden traces of blood from a crime scene can still be detected using a chemical known as luminol. As mentioned before, the museum is quite small, but there is a lot of information to keep you busy during your visit. There are various types of crimes, weapons and tools presented, and while everything is really interesting, I must say that some of the displays and details provided are not as easy to watch or read by everyone, so we'll only share with you a glimpse of what we saw at this museum and we'll let you discover the rest if you decide to pay it a visit. At the back of the museum there is a small chamber to be entered only if you dare, the death chamber as they called it. And inside this small cave there were real items linked to some horrible crimes in the history, including the skull of a well-known criminal and even a genuine lethal injection deathbed. The True Crime Museum is not your usual museum, but definitely a unique place to explore. And don't forget, it is also dog friendly, so if you are in the area exploring the historical part of Hastings, it might be worth adding this quirky museum to your travelling list. And it also helps if the weather is not great, it's a perfect way to spend some time indoors if you are in the area. Our visit in Hastings was really short this time, but we were really curious to see this museum. And we'll definitely return so we can explore the rest of the town. It is very touristic and has plenty of options for a day out exploring. So please stay close if you want to see more of our family adventures from the UK and not only.